Hey ballerinos, I hope you like the new hair because I very much did. Today I just wanted to talk about the goals I've set myself for this year. My original version of this video had over 50 goals, and when I had a meltdown in December I realised maybe, just maybe, I was overstretching myself a bit. So I've cut it down to 36. I have a problem. Well, doesn't matter, still want to do all these things, still gonna try. So in my career goals, the very first one is to be trained on the one area at work I'm not currently trained on, just because then I'll feel even more secure in my job and feel like it'll help me in the other areas if I know what's going on over there. So that is goal number one. My second goal is to get actual proper press shots. As you probably know if you follow me on anything, I'm not great at photography, especially not of myself, and for when I'm contacting other companies and working with various clients, I'd like to have press shots that are professionally made. And I have a lot of friends who are really talented photographers, so first of all I need to sit down and decide which one I'm going to hire. Secondly, I need to work out how to get to them because none of them are in Liverpool, and I need everyone to be vaccinated so we can safely do that. So a lot of these revolve around the hope that, I mean, I've had my first vaccination, but I'm in the NHS and that's why. I'm hoping we get there before the end of the year, please. I want to have my website sorted. I know I said this last year and it just didn't happen. However, I did create plans of how I want it to look and what I want to do. I have a lot of thoughts, I just need to sit down and put those into action, and I have a blocked out time that I'm going to do that in a couple of months. I'm working on monthly rotas at the minute. I'll make another video about that sometime. I've switched up the 7-week thing already because I have ADHD. My fourth one is I want to approach companies that I want to work with and try and present myself as a person they should work with. That ties into some of my other goals later on. I don't necessarily need these to be successful, I don't necessarily need them to agree, but I need to finally be brave enough to actually approach companies and say, hey, do you want me to do this thing for you? I can make stuff, and see where that leads me. Even if all I learn is how to do that better, I think it's important that I start trying to do that, because I've never really done that. I've just sort of waited for things to come to me, and that's not really how anything works. Moving on to education, I want to look into a variety of master's degrees. Now, as those of you who've been around a couple of years will know, I did start a master's, then realised it was the wrong one for me and dropped out, and I'm paying back a postgrad loan for something that I did a week of. And basically I want to be certain on whatever I do decide to do. I have a lot of thoughts about what I want to do, and I'm looking for essentially a master's that intertwines lots of different things and is quite practical, and I'm sure I'll update you guys if I ever make a decision on that. Number 6, I want to apply for my master's. The aim is to be starting it in September. If you've been around for a long time, you might remember my 30 before 30 video where I said I wanted a master's and a PhD. I still want that. It's looking almost impossible, so it might just be that I have a master's and I've started a PhD, but I definitely want to start my process into more education soon for the things I want to do. I want to carry on practicing drumming. Last year I started to teach myself. I'm going to actually buy a kit instead of just using the drum mat I've been using, because I think it's driving my housemate insane just hearing me tippy tapping on the table, because I can only hear through headphones. And also tactilely it's just different, and I want to make sure I can actually do it, and I want to get the hang of it a little more and I don't know, learn. I want to learn. Can you tell? 8 is a little secret, so shum. So I'm actually only telling you 35, maybe less, I don't know. Is there anything else we've got to keep secret on here? Maybe. Moving into my creative things, I want to get 2 poems published this year, because I got 1 published last year. I think I can do better. I'm aiming for 2. I want to reach 2,000 subs. Now, I've not really done numbers based goals on here for quite a while. I kind of stopped because obviously I have so much control over it. all I can do is create things, put them out and hope people like them and get better at marketing them. But I wanted to push myself and see if I could do it this year, if I could, you know, gain almost 1,000 subs in a year. I know some people are looking at this going, that's barely any, but look, it's a lot to me. I've been doing this for 10 years, I've got 1,100 subs or something. And I really appreciate every single one of them. But I don't think anyone on this platform is making things and not wanting more people to see them. Like, we're all narcissistic in that respect, aren't we? Really. I want to get an article published by someone who isn't me. Again, this was on my goals for last year, didn't quite happen. Hopefully we get there this year. I want to re-edit my novel. Again, last year I edited my novel. I'm in the middle of a re-edit right now. I've re-edited the first 5 chapters. I have a lot more to do. I want to get a literary agent. This was something I started pursuing last year, but it wasn't really a goal, it was just sort of the conclusive next step. And I need to learn how to pitch my work better, I think, in order to do that. I want the novel I wrote 5 years ago to be read and appreciated by the largest audience possible, and that is simply not going to happen if I self-publish. Also, I'd go into debt to self-publish. So the only way to really get published by anyone other than yourself is to get a literary agent. So that's what I'm aiming for this year. I want to perform one poem live. This is something I've always shied away from a little because my memory's shocking, but if I want to seriously continue doing the poetry thing, I think I need to break through that sort of personal wall. My plan with it isn't to just go in head first, it's to sort of start attending more events. I intermittently go to poetry events, but try and do it a little more, try and get to know some people, and hopefully get the balls to do it. I'm giving myself a year. This can literally be an open mic or something, it doesn't have to be a big deal, but I want to be at a point where I'm confident enough performing at least one poem live. I want to do another season of Reformation Rambles. Now I know some of you are split and some of you don't like Reformation Rambles, but I love it and it's my channel, so you're just gonna have to suck it up. I have big plans for the next season. I'm scripting properly, I'm not just reeling off facts. I want to improve my editing. I have big plans. I hope that I can pull it off. I really hope so. And I really hope that you guys will tune in and enjoy it, because it is probably the thing I put the most work into on this channel. Possibly one of the least liked things I make, but it's something I'm so passionate about talking about and sharing that I think it's important that I let myself carry on making it. It's one of the things that sort of reignited my love of YouTube, and I need to think about what I like more than what a vague audience likes, I think. Also, like, algorithm stuff's just confusing, and I know sometimes you guys don't watch them because you don't see them. So 17, I want to write one song, like the drum part for a song. I have lyrics for songs written, I'm just incapable currently of creating the actual music to go behind them, and I want that to be something I do this year. Again, in my 30 before 30 I said I wanted to learn an instrument, and I feel like you can't truly know an instrument at all unless you can create your own work with it as well as just doing what other people have already done with it. I want to write one song. I'm sure it'll be shocking, it'll probably be really bad. Hopefully in like 5 years I look back on it and I cringe, but I want to at least have tried to do that this year. Then we move into the financial one. 3 of these are paying off 3 separate overdrafts, so I'm not going to go into any further detail on those. I don't think you need it. I'm trying to get out of debt. That's half of it. 21 is to reach my initial emergency fund goal of £1,000. I've got about 500 right now. Because of low paid jobs and other factors, I have never had savings. It's made things really difficult, it's part of the reason I'm in debt, and I just want to have that buffer there so that if everything falls apart again, if I lose work, if anything happens, I'm not left in the lurch. And I want to save for my US and Canada trip that I've planned. Not put any money down for obvious reasons, but the aim is to do it either at the end of this year, the start of next year, and it's going to cost me nearly £5 because I'm essentially looping around the States and Canada on trains and taking a month off work to do it. So that's priority. Well, it's not the priority is getting out of debt, but that's something that's very important to me, and hopefully I can get at least the bulk of that done this year. In terms of health, I need to get a new inhaler. Now this may sound like something that should just be on a to-do list, but like when I put get a flu jab on my goals list for the year, I might actually do it. Because I've needed a new inhaler for like half a year, and I'm a wheezy bitch, so that's goal number 1. 24 is to get my breast reduction. As I've told you guys already, I've had my first 2 consultations. I'm really looking forward to my spine not degenerating further. The surgery is currently vaguely on hold for COVID reasons, but I will put a link to my fundraiser in the description because I'm still trying to not get hideously in debt with that particular one. 25, I want to go back to bouldering. Again, those of you who've been here a while know I used to go bouldering semi-regularly. It kind of fell off when I was low on money, and then lockdown happened, and because of a variety of reasons I can't climb in a mask, and I'm not about to turn up and not wear a mask because I think that's rude as fuck. So I will wait until people are more vaccinated and it's safe and hopefully go back, because it's one of the only forms of exercise that's ever held my attention. And I want to stick to meal prepping. I generally manage this on some level. I need to buy a new microwave for it to be really successful, but it helps me a lot. It means I don't spend a fortune on takeaways at work. I generally use Gustos and then just make it all up, shove it in my fridge and freezer for the week, and I'm mostly done. I want to keep that up because I've sort of started and stopped it a lot in the past, and I want to make sure I'm actually getting vaguely healthy meals instead of just panicking because I've run out of things and making straight pasta with like some cheese on it. Self-fulfillment. I want to read a book a month, so last year I started reading again. This is me sort of setting myself a goal, but a nice, easily achievable goal. I didn't want to go, you'll read a book a week, because I won't. I don't think I could now. This lets me sort of take my time, absorb a book, but get back into reading in a more planned way, I suppose. Number 28, I want to do NaNoWriMo. I've not done NaNoWriMo since 2015, which is when I originally sort of came up with the novel I'm now trying to get published. Every year I watch people do it and I want to join in on the sprints and get involved. So my November is now just patched off. I'm going to make it a NaNoWriMo month, and I'm going to do that for myself, and it's going to be fun and stressful. It's always stressful, isn't it? Number 29 is to either visit friends or do a group call at least once a month. I'm an extrovert, as I've spoken about on this channel before, and whilst I'm one of the lucky ones who actually gets to go into work, I am struggling with the lack of human contact. I hope that before the end of this year we do reach a point where I can actually go and visit people in person, but in the meantime group calls will have to do. They're not the same, but they'll have to do, and if I at least have one a month, I hope that'll keep me vaguely with it and not just breaking. Number 30 ties into a lot of the early ones, and that is learning to sell myself. I don't necessarily mean like a full-on elevator pitch type thing. I mean being able to say what I do without sort of toning it down, being able to present what I do really well in casual conversation. It doesn't have to be like a big deal, but I want to be able to show that what I do is worthwhile and not just me dicking about on the internet, which I think is often how I come across as presenting it. But I work hard on a lot of the things I make, and I should be presenting that more, and hopefully I can learn how to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do this one really, but I'll work it out as we go. 31, I want to volunteer for Buy Pride. I did apply for a position with them at the end of last year, but unfortunately it had closed by the time I applied. So I'm keeping an eye out for any roles that I feel like I'm suited for. I want to be doing more to help the LGBT community beyond just releasing poems. And I really respect what Bi Pride do, and I'd like to support them in that. Number 32 is to build a home bar. So as a lot of you guys know, I used to sleep in the living room for a little bit. Now there's quite a bit of space, and I'm planning to fill it with a relatively small little like bar with like mini fridges and spirits. It's a little like home project. I've not had home projects for a long time, so that's something I want to build, and I'm sure I will document it with you guys when I actually start getting things together and doing it. 33 is to maintain my morning and evening routines. I've shown you guys what they are on here before. Sometimes I sort of spiral out of control and they stop, and I need to kind of treat them as priority to keep my mental health on check. So that's a lofty goal. I'm not expecting it to happen every single day because things happen. But if I can keep it so that most of the time I'm doing it, like I've got a little tracker to keep up with how I'm doing. And the next section may be ambitious, but we live in hope here on bobbinsleak, and that is travel. I have a friend who moved to Graz in Austria last year, so I want to go visit her. I still want to go to Amsterdam, and I still want to explore Liverpool more. I actually have an entire YouTube series planned around it, but it's not possible right now. That's it. Those are my goals for 2021. I would love to hear your goals in the comments below. If you did enjoy this, give me a cheeky like and subscribe. I don't know if I'll be back next week, but I will be back at least the week after that. I'm pulling a few things together, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye!